31st of December 2024, and I went on a bit of a photo shoot to Swannies in Dorset, and on the way back from Swannies I called at the small village of Corfe Castle. And then those that have watched this channel know that that's quite a subject that I often photograph, Corfe Castle, and it has an excellent little antique shop. And I was in this antique shop and I was chatting to one of the partners of the antique shop who I knew slightly, and he asked if I was still buying cameras, and though I had had a really good look in the shop, I had completely missed a camera he had bought several years ago, I think. But he said, was I interested in this? And it's a Ikoflex from about 1936. Those of you that again have watched the channel know I really like single lens reflex cameras and twin lens reflex cameras, and this is a twin lens, and I really like the format of medium format. One of the cameras I bought last year was a Rolleicord. Well, I bought several Rolleicords last year, but I bought an early Rolleicord that I really liked. And I've also got another Rolleicord of a similar vintage which I just love, about the sort of 1930s Rolleicord. This is a bit confusing, its name, because I think it's actually a Ikoflex 2, but later on in 39 they renamed it Ikoflex 1. But I'm going to call it Ikoflex 2. I think it dates from about 1936. The model before this was what they call the coffee can shape. This obviously isn't that shape, but it does have a number of interesting features. The first feature, and you see I've still got its little price string on, the first feature is this lever here for the focusing. It's not a focusing knob, it's a focusing lever, and you focus it here, okay? And can you see that the focusing is obviously coming in and out there. Where do we start? Let's start by how we would load a film. And opening the camera, remember that Zeiss had a patent on the opening of its camera, so this has to be different in many ways to the Rolleiflex and Rollei. So we have a button here, and you can see it's had a film in. You would load it down here over this roller here. I presume it goes over the roller, but I will have to check that. And you can see where it lines on here. Now, these were before we got the red dot on the camera. So to set the counter, we have a little window down here, and we have to wind the film until it's number 1, and as soon as it's number 1 we can press this button here, and then we reset the counter here to number 1. So to recap, we put number 1 there, set the shutter, and it would be number 1 there. Then we can close the little window down here. You can see the slightly larger tripod mount there. That's very common for pre-war cameras. I haven't mentioned the best part of this camera yet. Well, I thought the best part. If you look carefully at the lens, it's a Tessa lens. It's a Zeiss Jena Tessa, and it's a 3.5 lens. Let me check, 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 lens, which for the time was, well, it still is a very good lens and was quite a fast lens. Now, to use the camera, obviously we've now got the film in. Focus using this lever here. The shutter speed and aperture on the front here. So I've got my shutter set at 100 ASA. I would set my aperture according to a light meter or Sunny 16 rule. And for those who might not know the Sunny 16 rule, there is a video which I've done recently on Sunny 16 rule, and then you have to manually set the shutter, which you do on that lever there, and then you can, well, after focusing and framing, there we are, and then simply wind on here. And that is all there is to it. Oh, I haven't shown you, we do have a sports finder there and a magnifier, and to release the top we have a little button here. Now, the condition of this camera is, again, what I would describe as interesting. It isn't in the best condition, but it's not a bad condition. The lens seems moderately fungus free. The blades work, the aperture blades, the shutter seems to work on all speeds. A little bit sluggish at 1, but it's fine, it does work. The other speeds seem, from the eye, they seem very good. And a key thing you can often tell with the TLRs, if the focusing is really stiff, it's probably been dropped. This is absolutely fine. So some resistance, but not much there. The taking lens, you don't get it's not bad looking through, but they aren't the brightest. But remember, this camera is heading on to 90 years old. It appears to be a very workable camera. I need to obviously test it to find out if it is working, but let's see what happened when I put a film for it. It was a bright sunny day when I took the Ikoflex out, and I was really pleased with the results. This Tesla lens is performing, and it reminded me of, I used a Enzyme 220 with a Tesla lens last September, and very similar results actually, which you would expect from a similar lens. This lens is slightly faster. I was surprised that I'm pretty sure it's not coated, and yet it was sharp, it was clear. I think you can tell it's not coated because there is a slight difference in the image. It's difficult to say exactly what I think the difference is. It looks slightly, when I say less crisp, it is a crisp image, but maybe hasn't got that over sharpness you get with coated lenses. This is just my opinion. The range of greys I was really pleased with. Now, these photographs are all digitally scanned. I'm going to do a whole video on the same lot of negatives printed in the darkroom, and I'm also going to do a video which I've halfway done about how I scanned and altered these in Photoshop, so you can see both processes, a digital process and the traditional darkroom process. I was really pleased with this camera. I look forward to using it again. Thanks and bye.